shorter meeting. It's only a half hour. We wanted to get through some updates, but also, give you another opportunity to talk about things that you're experiencing. We will be continuing to have more answer hours, especially more focused ones with the different stakeholder groups. But we wanted to just have this opportunity because we know we had some stuff. We had some fixes go in last week, and we want to see what the experiences are and if we still have any questions. On the call with me, I have Angie Andreessen. You probably just heard from her. She is the our business analyst on the department side, so she will be jumping in to help me fill some of these questions. And as always, for these answer hours, please just type your messages in the chat. We will read through them, and then we will get some answers to you if there's some things that we need to follow up on. With that, we'll get started here.
Just a quick reminder, we are going to go ahead and record this session. We will put it up on the DLI website in the near future. But just so you all are aware, we are going to be recording this session and taking down the questions. Thanks.
Okay, the agenda will be, we'll go over what was in the last release we had. We do have weekly releases, so we'll go over what was in the last release. We'll go over some known issues that we've been encountering. We'll have some question and answers, and then we'll talk about some upcoming answer hour sessions. As always, I like to have conversations. This, like I said, is kind of a shorter meeting, so we'll get through the content as fast as possible. Then we'll jump into the questions and go from there. So some of the releases that were updated. If you are in the trading partner world, here's some of the issues that we were addressing. Like I said, we have weekly releases, so we wanted to take in some of the errors you were receiving and then make sure that you can do them. So go through them real quick. The prompt action tab, errors and amending existing claims. That's been fixed. We got some feedback on that. EDI can insert a null value error. That's something that trading partners were receiving as an error when they were sending in a transmission and was coming back with that error. So that has been fixed. Anybody who's actually filing eForm is able to now file their SHROI, and then the WID's not lining up and claims email notifications going out were different. So you can read through these. We don't have to go over every one, but we wanted to make sure that these are now fixed. We did test them. They are working, and we haven't had any reports today where we're having issues with these. So that is good. Angie, do you have anything to add on to? I know you work a lot with the EDI.
I don't have anything else to add at this time. Thanks.
Perfect. All right. If anybody has a trading partner, they have questions on these, let us know, and then we'll talk about some of the stuff we have upcoming. So the next one. For attorneys, notice of appearance. So the NOA form is submitting but not processing, and so that one we did fix, and we have tested that with a couple of externals already, and that was working. Making sure that staff's getting related when the notice of appearance is filed, if they're related in the group, so that way the staff member does get on that case. We had some intermittent errors when trying to do responses to medical requests, and so that has been fixed. And then getting the unauthorized screen and trying to add a potential intervener while filing a dispute form. That one we documented, and we did do some improvements on that, but we would like to see if we could get some feedback if that is working, because from the external side, we just want to make sure that one is going through. Next one, Angie. Rehab providers. We've had a number of sessions with rehab providers, and we probably know we have some things we're working on for them. But the real thing for them is trying to get that survey back, and so we can get their open cases in there, and they can continue to file their forms. The we've fixed some things on the amending the entity, selecting a known contact and not showing on the R forms. Angie, was that one it was not allowed to advance after that? Is that what the issue was there?
I believe that that's the case, yes.
Yeah. And then the R2 education level, that one was I know a lot of people had this, it came up where the educations we were missing some of the education things in there. And then issues with saving the retraining plan as a draft. And that was something we fixed. So you should be able to save all those in there now, and those should be good. And you should be able to start filing those forms. We'll continue to work with the rehab providers this week to ensure that their experience is going a little smoother so that these forms can get filed, not only on the new cases, but on the old cases. The next one.
Brad, just to preface this page, so this is not an exhaustive list of the issues that we're seeing right now. These are just some of the issues that would potentially be impacting a broad number of folks. I kind of wanted to get some of these up so that people are aware of them. And you can also find a list of the release. So all of the things that Brad just went through, that's on our Campus Central page, which we'll look at in a couple slides here. I did forget, after you run through these, Brad, there's just one more that I would like to add.
Yeah, so just so everybody is aware, we are keeping track of everything, but we are meeting with multiple groups and taking down feedback as well as some of the experiences they're having. So we are doing that this week, and we did it last week. So we are doing sessions with people and making sure that we get things documented and that we can reproduce what's going on. So that way, this is where this list comes from. We do have some definite we have an issue with some of the UR filings, which relates directly to our guide requirements around the claim admin claim number and and your ability to reproduce the claim admin claim number sometimes. So we have a number of URs that are failing for that reason. That is something that's in the guide, so we have to look to see how fast we can do a change on that. The other things with some of the URs we're seeing is clashes with legacy data, and that's something we know we need to work out. And we have a meeting today with the team, so we'll start to get a plan, and we will start to communicate all that to everybody on when those UR filings that are getting hung up because of some data clashes or some of these edits that are in the guide. We will inform that stakeholder group that what's going on. Group management, users stuck in pending status. This one was a real help. Thanks everybody that took the time to jump on a call with us and show us your screen where we were starting to see this. So we know this is an issue, something we want to fix. The retrieving the rehab forms and draft status is coming up again. So we want to make sure that we address that. No address issue, duplicates, duplicate group showing some of the users, and then rehab providers and attorneys unable to see all their cases. So we are putting a fix in for the rehab providers with the survey, and attorneys, we're gonna work on your open cases. We're starting with some data cleansing to get a good list of cases. Then you should be able to start seeing all your cases, and then if not, we'll figure out a path for you to get in there. Andy, what was the other item you had?
Yeah, the last item that I just wanted to kind of throw out there is, if you all are getting emails from the system and they indicate that your group administrator is somebody who you've never heard of from a different organization, that is just another thing that we've been seeing on some emails that you may be getting from the system when you're added to a group. So it may not be quite as prevalent right now, since most of you are likely in the groups that you're going to be in. But just know that if you see that, we do have that documented and we're working through it. And we did confirm that there were not any security issues associated with that. It's truly just populating an incorrect email address. So if you're seeing that, just know that we are working through that particular issue.
And then, as always, we're posting more things on this Campus Central page. Angie or somebody, if you want to put the link in the chat for everybody so that we're able to keep posting updates on here as we're seeing things. If you're experiencing things, please, go on there and see if it is a known issue, so that way you know the remedy. We're trying to put the remedy and also, the cause. And if we do have a timeline of when things will be fixed, we will put it on there as well. Right now, it's not a lot of timelines because some of this things we just came up with, but also we have to make sure that we can test it properly and get it out there, and we have to verify it with some of the externals that it is what the behavior is. So sometimes these fixes do take a little longer, just because we're trying to get all the information to make sure it's not just that if there's a problem in the code or if there's a problem in the data. And we have seen that the data from an old legacy system coming into a new is causing some challenges, and that's something we want to make sure when we're talking to people, we're seeing it. Is this a data issue? Is there something just with the way the behavior of the system is working is not working correctly? So we do have this page out there. Please feel free to see it. Angie, do we have any questions or anything yet?
Yes, we do have a couple questions. One of them I'm just going to go ahead and get out ahead of. I know some of you were having some issues because you have alpha characters, or your staff has alpha characters in their attorney bar ID, so they may have registered with a bar ID that is not their correct bar ID. The system does not allow for you all to reset their bar ID on the external site. So I just put my email address in the chat. If you need to switch somebody's bar ID, please send that to me and I can research that a little bit further and get that changed over for you. Let me see here. A couple more questions. So this is specific to EDI. If we ran into the null error last week, we should be able to just refile the submissions this week and it should work now, correct? Yes, that is correct. I think I've already addressed the attorney ID question. Will the system ever assign an adjuster to a case automatically, or will the designated user at the carrier TPA always have to manually assign an adjuster to the claim? That is some really good feedback that we've been getting from a number of insurance companies. Right now, we don't have the functionality in place for the system to automatically assign the adjuster. However, if you grant the adjusters in your group the global claim access, what can happen there is they should be able to see any claims. They wouldn't show up in their My Claims tab, but they can see them in the Entity Claims tab, Related Claims and Cases tab, that are related to them. A step that some companies have taken is actually at least temporarily granting access to their adjusters for the claim access administration credentials, which would then allow those adjusters to go in and assign the claims themselves, at least in the short term. So those are a few solutions for that issue, but that is some really great feedback that we have gotten and taken down from a number of people. Can we add a column or data field for the JCN? It would be great to be able to search and sort and filter by the JCN. So John, I'm going to have you send me the specific table, or if you don't mind emailing me the table that you're looking for. I believe you should be able to search by the JCN throughout the system. So it may just be some confusion with those columns, the name of the field. The error messages associated with EDI filings are rather vague. We keep having to go through our vendor to translate the issues. Is there any plan in place to produce or to simplify the error messages? For example, the transaction set ID validation errors prevented data load. So I know that particular error is definitely a little difficult to understand. That's an error that really shouldn't be occurring much in the future. We can certainly look at simplifying those error messages. That would be something that would take quite some time on our end. But if you ever have questions about what a data error means, what you're receiving in your in your acknowledgments, you can always reach out to our EDI team as well, and we can kind of help you work through that. A lot of the time, we're pretty familiar with what is likely wrong, so we can just kind of quickly help. But that is a great suggestion to hopefully continue to simplify those error messages. I know EDI is quite technical. All right. I don't see any other questions in the chat right at this moment.
Okay. Do we want to go to the scheduling of the next answer hours, Andrew?
Yep.
So here's what we have planned. This week we put in some answer hours, like I said, the general answer hours, and we're going to start to put in some more specific ones. I think something I want to reach out to the group about is we want to definitely offer some support the week of Thanksgiving. Would you all be interested in having an answer hour specific to your particular group, if you're like an attorney or a rehab provider, on that week, or is people not going to really be working that week? So I'll put that out there, and if you just want to, give us some feedback on whether to do it, we'll get them scheduled, and then we just want to make sure that it's a good use of your time if you're working that week.
And please feel free, if you need to take that back to your staff or need to ask others, please feel free to just send me an email directly with that information. If you don't have it now in the chat, you should be able to just reply to the event that you received. My email address is there, but I will add it back in the chat as well. And I did see some feedback for the legal community that it would be great to have an answer hour for next week, so we can definitely look into scheduling one.
Okay. And with that, of course, we will continue to have our weekly communications going out. We will continue to reach out to stakeholder groups as we're getting more information on some of this. We do thank you for your patience. Is there any Angie, is there any other stuff going on in the chat?
There was just a mention that the Monday, the 30th, may be a little bit difficult for rehab providers just due to the nature of their work. They have a lot of work that does need to be done before the end of the month. So we can certainly look at moving that to a different day that week. And then it looks like there was a specific question about a specific EDI error. Trisha, I will reach out to you directly on that one, and we can kind of work through what's going on. There's another great question in the chat. Has there been enough interest for a medical provider answer hour? And I would assume, Karen, I believe you deal with like interventions for your employer. So I think it would be more geared probably towards interventions. Is that kind of your thought process? You can just go ahead and elaborate in the chat if you'd like.
Yeah, I know that we definitely would be glad to do one for the medical community. With COVID-19 and everything that's happened over the past, it feels like about 8 months now, the medical community has been pretty strapped and prioritizing other things. So, we haven't had a lot of interest, but we definitely can take that down, and we can schedule one and put it out there. That's no problem.
Yeah, definitely. And Lisa, I see you'd like to have another rehab provider answer hour. Can you clarify, is that for next week, or would you like to have multiple? Are you indicating you'd like multiple throughout the week?
It seems like we're getting a lot of feedback that these are good, and especially the very specific ones. So what I'll do is I'll work with our team. We'll put a bunch more on the calendar just so we have them out there. And then if participation, if there's no value, then we'll obviously stop doing them. But we'll get them out there. It seems like the rehab providers need to get one. We'll get a rehab provider one on the books, as well as law firms and insurance carriers again. So I'll keep with kind of a similar cadence to what we had before, where we have weekly answer hours and very specific stuff. And so we'll start to plan that out. And if you have any ideas for content or any things you want to see or any things you need to know about, please send them to us. We would love to get that feedback so we can incorporate them into the answer hour.
Great, thanks, Brad. Could insurance providers and TPAs have an answer hour where we could ask EDI questions and issues? I think that's a great idea. I think we could definitely look into something like that. And that's the last question that I am seeing in the chat. I think we're at 12:22, so we still have a couple minutes. And there was just something that came up just about the inability to file an RCR. It's indicating that this particular user is not part of a rehab provider group, but she is registered and active. So yeah, I will take a look at that one for you, Lisa. I think I have your firm information already. We are seeing some instances where the rehab staff, PRC staff and interns tab is not populated quite correctly. So that's something that's been raised up, and we'll definitely communicate that to you all if that seems to become kind of a widespread issue. But I will reach out to you directly on that one after our call. Great.
All right. If there's no other questions, we will we'll adjourn the meeting. Please feel free to continue to contact us, continue contacting the help desk. I know it's been a rough couple of weeks, but the input you're giving us is really making the system better and making it a lot more usable. So we definitely want to keep that input coming. And if anybody has any further comments, please direct them to us. So with that, I say thank you, and we'll give you back 6 minutes.
Thanks, Brad. There was just one other thing that did come up in the chat I just want to address quickly. So I know some people mentioned that they're not seeing some claims in their My Claims dashboard. So if you're not seeing them in the My Claims dashboard, that simply means that they are not assigned to you. If you are not seeing them in your entities related claims and cases tab, which would be if you click into your group, you click on your entity, and then you click related claims and cases. If they are not showing up in that tab and you have already filed an update report, or it is a new claim where you just went ahead and you filed your 00, please let me know if that is the case, because that should not be occurring. There's been a little bit of confusion about how groups need to be set up for insurers and claim administrators. So if you're having questions about that, or if you're just not sure if your group is set up correctly, please feel free to send me a message and I can take a look and we can schedule a call if necessary. And I think with that, we can probably go ahead and call it an answer hour. Thank you all so much for your participation. This is, I think, just as beneficial for us as it is to you all. So we will get these additional answer hours scheduled and on the books. And please just kind of stay in touch if you're seeing anything that you think you shouldn't be seeing. Things are working a little bit differently than you'd expect. We can certainly kind of work through that with you. So thank you all. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, thank you.